Hello everyone, let's talk about how you can export slash share, as Final Cut X calls it, a DVD from your project in Final Cut X. And it's not a terribly hard process. Briefly here, make sure you got your project either selected in the timeline or you have it up here in the browser selected, but make sure you got the right thing selected so you're not sharing the wrong thing. And then go over to the share icon, choose DVD. Here's sort of a summary of your project and what you're going to end up exporting. Estimated size, obviously this is a very small example right now. And then in settings we can customize some things. So output device, where is Final Cut X going to put this thing that it's creating? So it's basically converting your video into an MPEG-2 format. If you're making a regular standard definition DVD, it would be AVC HD if it were Blu-ray, and you certainly can burn Blu-rays, but you're going to need a special Blu-ray burner for that. Won't be able to do that in just any DVD burner. So where's it going to put it? Is it going to go out to the hard drive, or in this case to my DVD burner? How many layers does your disk have? So the disk that you are going to burn this to, is it a single layer, so it's like 4.7 gigabytes of space, or is it double layer, so it's double that? So if you have a double layer, then you have double the space, and that way you can have a larger file, so a higher quality file. So it just depends on the DVDs that you have. Single layer much more common, but I tend to use double layers when I'm exporting a DVD of an event I do that's probably a couple hours long. So we go double layer on that one, so it just depends on the DVD media that you bought. Disc template. So this is a very basic DVD that you're going to get. It's one that if you paid money for it, you'd probably be a little disappointed by the lousy quality of the DVD menu. But anyway, so your choices for the disc template are white, and you can see a little preview here, or black. Or you can actually add a picture background if you want to. You can click add and you can put a picture behind it, and it will kind of letterbox the picture. So very, very simple and kind of lame. If you want to make a DVD menu that actually looks cool, you should really export your project for DVD and then import it into another DVD authoring program. When the disc loads, what do you want people to see? Do you want them to show the menu, or just straight up play it? And honestly, yeah, the menu is going to be so lame that I would probably just have them play it, but that's totally your call. And then you have this option here for markers. Do you want to use chapter markers as subtitles? So you can kind of get double duty out of the chapter markers that you make in your timeline, and you can actually have them serve as subtitles without having to use another application to create subtitles, or using just literally text files to make subtitles. So that's a little advanced, but that's an option for you there. And then again, background can be picked here. And then here's a little preview of your main menu and your chapter menu. So if you have markers with chapter titles on them, if you've gone in and add markers to your timeline, those would all auto-generate here, and that I would recommend. So that's basically how you can do it. Then you hit next and select the name for it and all that. So a couple things I would suggest you do before you get to the point of exporting it. And one is adding markers like this, and then that way people will be able to jump between your different chapters, and you'll be able to it'll just make it easier for them to do that. And if we double click on that, sorry, just taking a minute, double click on the marker, we can change the name. So we could, call it whatever we want that chapter to be called. Again, we can change the type of marker that this is too. You want to make sure that it's not like a to-do marker, or it won't likely work for you on that one. Okay, so that's a thing I'd want to do before I export it. Another thing that I would recommend is that you have a little black and then have your video fade up at the beginning, because otherwise when people hit play, they jump right in. And you may not have noticed this, but normally when you hit play on a DVD, I mean, you're going to get like the FBI warning nonsense and all that sort of stuff. But if you don't get that, it's very awkward and unprofessional to just hit play and have your video pop up like that. So what I would recommend doing is getting a little bit of black at the beginning, which we can do by clicking one of our segments, hitting Command A. And then we want to be in the position mode, not the select mode. If we're in select mode, Final Cut doesn't let us move it. If we are in position mode, then we can move Final Cut, or move our timeline over a little bit. And that's because select is basically like insert mode, and position is like overwrite mode. And so it's just the kind of the different way that those two types of modes work. So now we have a little bit of black. If I hit play, we have a second there. And then, you know, if we go into the transitions pane here, we can go and drag a transition on there and make it a little bit longer. Oops. Make it longer and reposition it a little bit, so that when people hit play, they'll see this black, and then it fades in. Right? That's a little bit better. And I tell you that because that's a mistake I've made in the past. Because, you know, normally you export a video, you know, YouTube, whatever else, it just fires right up. But on DVD, we have to do things a little bit differently. And also, the same goes for the end of the video. You don't want the video to stop and then immediately jump right back to the menu. So you want to have some black at the end. You can do that too by adding an in and out in your timeline, like so. And then Final Cut will export, you know, that range. Yeah, that's probably the simplest way to do it. So those are a couple prep things I would do before I export for DVD, should you choose to export a DVD. And yeah, if you want to get into Blu-ray, that's great. If you're not using Blu-ray, then you are automatically dumbing down your HD footage to standard definition, which is kind of a bummer. But you know, that's sort of the way things go. And standard definition Blu-rays standard definition DVDs are still a lot more common. So it kind of depends on your audience too, what you're going to do. I would have to be convinced of why if I would export a Blu-ray at this point. But you certainly could have some reasons for that, and you'd have the ability to charge a little bit more for it in that case, but you're also going to reduce your market for it a little bit. So that's exporting to DVD, a very basic introduction to it. So I hope that works for you, and it's a really nice, easy way to get your project out to people rather than just maybe throwing it up on YouTube for everybody to see for free, that kind of thing. All right, thanks.